Hello ladies, MBs and gentlemen. I wanted to make a video addressing the issue of offence and why people telling you that you have offended them is not in any way, shape or form an infringement of any of your legal rights. One of the more tiresome cliches I often hear, usually from the mouths of conservative libertarians, is you don't have a right not to be offended. This phrase, as well as being a tiresome cliche, is not always true, given as different countries have different laws. Hate speech laws may not be a thing in America, but the UK does have laws against hate speech as well as malicious communications. Whether or not such laws are good or bad is a topic of some debate, but for the sake of this video, let's assume we're all living in a society where people are legally allowed to be as offensive as they wish. Why might we still feel it valuable to express our feelings of offence in such a society? Well, the short answer is for the same reason we might express any other feelings we might have: communication. We are a social species after all. It would be a very strange society if we never told other people how they were making us feel, though obviously it can depend on context. If the context is that of a civilised exchange of views, then one party pointing out that the other is being offensive is valid. After all, if an agreement had been made that the exchange be civilised, then being offensive is a definite breach of pre-established ground rules. While I may not have the right not to be offended, I do have the right to pull the plug on an exchange I'm engaged in if I find the other person to be offensive. If the context is that of a no-holds-barred exchange of views, then being offensive isn't a breach of any ground rules, given as there are no ground rules to begin with, ergo expressing the fact I'm offended serves little purpose. While civilised exchanges of views are not particularly popular on the internet, they do seem to be held in higher regard in the offline world. So why might civilised exchanges be held in higher regard than no-holds-barred exchanges? The short answer to that is because the former tends to work better than the latter. You are of course free to disagree with me about this, and to put your hypothesis to the test by going out of your way to be as offensive as possible to the people you interact with in your daily life, and see how much progress you make. If you feel any sense of reluctance at all about doing that, though, then I feel my point is proven. Ground rules, of course, are not usually laid out formally in everyday social interactions. Ergo, two people may well go into an exchange with a very different idea of what is and is not acceptable. As such, each party will learn the other's ground rules as they go. They may not consider the other's rules fair, but then participation in the exchange is not compulsory, and as such either party can pull the plug if they feel the other is expecting an unreasonably high level of etiquette from them. The same holds true if one feels the other is holding themselves to an unreasonably low level of etiquette, hence phrases such as "I'm offended" serving as a warning that one is close to pulling the plug on the discussion if the other doesn't raise the bar for themselves. If you don't care if your opponent pulls the plug on a discussion, which we can infer from phrases such as "I don't care if you're offended," then it's a fair question to ask, why are you in this discussion in the first place? If you use phrases such as "you don't have a right not to be offended" as a response to people telling you they're offended, then I can only infer that you are confusing freedom of speech with freedom from criticism. Freedom of speech only protects you from legal consequences for things you say. Freedom of speech does not protect you from other consequences, such as social consequences or personal consequences, which are the sort of consequences you are facing if a person or group of people choose to disassociate with you because you have offended them. Online, such disassociation might take the form of removing someone from a group or blocking them on social media. If you disagree, then I suggest you take some time to ponder what society might be like if the only behaviour we were ever allowed to be critical of was that which is illegal. Thanks for watching.